Welcome into Smoky Mountain Source. Today we're going to talk about the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad. Railroads have always been a great asset to this country. They allow the transport of goods, information, and people at a pace that had never been seen before. The case was no different for those living in Appalachia. They benefited greatly from the newly built railroad systems. The Great Smoky Mountains Railroad is a historical tourist train that runs from Bryson City to Dillsboro, North Carolina. Covering 53 miles in total, the railroad offers tourists and visitors alike a unique adventure through the natural topography of western North Carolina. Powered by both diesel and steam engine locomotives, the train has a dining car and an open-air car in addition to its other seats, making it a popular attraction since 1988. All excursions on the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad depart from Bryson City, North Carolina, at the Bryson City Depot in the middle of town. While there are special themed events that take place on the railroad, the two main excursions you can book are the Nantahala Gorge excursion and the Tuckasegee River excursion. On the Nantahala Gorge excursion, you'll ride along the banks of the Nantahala River. The 4.5-hour ride covers 44 miles as it reaches as far as the Nantahala Gorge, where you will enjoy a 1-hour layover. The train then promptly returns to Bryson City the same day. On your way, you will encounter unique natural wildlife and even cross Fontana Lake before reaching Nantahala Gorge. The Tuckasegee River excursion will have you riding up and over the countryside to Dillsboro, North Carolina. The 4-hour trip will cover 32 miles and even pass by the former set of the movie The Fugitive. After a 1.5-hour stop in Dillsboro, during which you can venture out to experience what small town life is like, it's back to the train as it will begin its journey back to Bryson City. The train runs on a schedule that offers one excursion for a certain amount of time and then switches to the other. This means that you'll have to plan when you visit based on which excursion or type of trip you want to enjoy. Ticket prices for the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad range from $50 to $140 based on the type of excursion, the date, and the seating you choose. The railroad has many discounts for various organizations, and kids ride for free. The seating options are coach class, open air, or crown class. In coach class, which is tier 1, you get enclosed car seating, you can open or close your windows, and you have heat and ceiling fans. In the open air seating, obviously the seating is open aired, you don't have any obstruction to your views, the walls are half height, you have a roof, and the restrooms are nearby. On Tier 3, or what they call Crown Class, you have assigned seating, large windows, full climate control, snacks, in-car restrooms, and even a free souvenir tumbler with free refills. Every train has to have a locomotive to power it. They take pride in their fairly large roster of engines. They run two types of locomotives, a steam engine and a diesel engine. The steam-powered locomotive dates back to 1942, as it was used as a World War II steam engine. The diesel locomotive roster is full of 4 different models, and they look like the typical locomotive you would see today on the railways. The train runs throughout the entire year, whether cold or hot. While it does run on many days throughout the month, the days vary month to month, so you have to check their website. The train excursions offer a decent menu of food prepared fresh on board by a chef and staff. These southern-infused options range from chicken salad to pulled pork to pot roast and shrimp and grits. To receive food on the train, you must order your meal at the time of booking. Of all the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad excursions, the Polar Express may be the best. A perfect trip for children, the Polar Express runs almost constantly during November and December. This special event is a little over an hour trip from Bryson City Depot to the North Pole. As you ride along to the soundtrack of the movie, guests will be treated to warm cocoa and cookies. Waiting to meet them at the North Pole is Santa, who will board the train and give them a gift. Before the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad became a tourist attraction, it was a real railroad with a real history. That history started with the Murphy branch of the Western North Carolina Railroad. Originally built by convict slave labor in 1881, the Murphy Branch was finished in 1894. The branch would be critical in bringing development to the mountains of southwestern North Carolina. Connecting these mountains to Asheville allowed the rural people of Appalachia to have access to the outside world for the first time in the region. As did the railroad in general, the Murphy Branch brought the region together with its American brothers and sisters. During the 1980s, Norfolk Southern, the current operator of the Murphy Branch, decided to close it forever. Fortunately, the state of North Carolina bought the line, leading to the purchase of the railway by the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad as an attraction. The closure of the Murphy Branch and subsequent purchase by the state of North Carolina allowed the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad to create a new attraction deep in the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina. This attraction lasted for a bit, but was bought by a new company and given an overhaul in 1999. In 2000, the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad reopened with beautiful new color schemes and branding. Additionally, they went back to moving some freight to offset some of the cost of running the railroad. In 2004, the railroad debuted its Polar Express trip, which boomed the Bryson City economy as nearly 100,000 riders flocked to the Polar Express event. Today, the railroad continues to boost the local economy of Bryson City as a unique adventure for all ages. The ability and dedication to renovating and maintaining this historical railway are beyond commendable. Anytime we can offer education in the form of attraction and fun, it is a win. It is important to remember the history and traditions of the Smoky Mountains, because if we don't, we will lose it to time.